Across the endless grasslands of Africa, where the scorching sun beats down on the savanna from dawn until dusk, a massive white rhinoceros slowly makes its way through the open plains. Protected by thick armor-like skin and an impressive horn, the rhino has very few natural enemies. Yet even this powerful giant cannot escape one of nature's smallest and most persistent threats. Hundreds of blood-feeding ticks cling tightly to the soft folds of skin around its ears, neck, shoulders, legs, belly, and the base of its tail. Their tiny mouthparts remain firmly embedded in the rhino's skin as they feed continuously day and night. Every bite causes constant irritation, itching, and discomfort. Some of the bite sites have already become swollen and inflamed, while others have developed into small wounds that could eventually become infected. Desperate for relief, the rhino repeatedly shakes its enormous head, flicks its ears, and rubs its body against rough tree trunks. It rolls through thick mud in an attempt to dislodge the parasites. While a few ticks fall away, most remain securely hidden deep within the folds of its thick skin, continuing to feed undisturbed. As the African sun climbs higher into the sky, tiny saviors begin to arrive. A single red-billed oxpecker glides down from a nearby acacia tree and lands gently on the rhino's broad back. It pauses for a moment, carefully scanning the giant's body before spotting dozens of swollen ticks clustered around the shoulders and neck. Within minutes, its sharp calls attract more oxpeckers from across the savanna. Soon, an entire flock gathers around the rhino. Some birds perch on its back, while others cling to its neck, shoulders, flanks, legs, and even its head. Using their bright red needle-like bills, they begin removing the swollen, blood-filled ticks one by one, with remarkable speed and precision. Each parasite quickly becomes a nutritious meal for the hungry birds. The most difficult places to reach, the inside of the ears, around the eyes, beneath the chin, and between deep skin folds, are carefully inspected by the oxpeckers. Their sharp eyesight allows them to spot even the smallest remaining parasites. Every time a tick is discovered, it is quickly plucked away and swallowed. The rhino stands almost perfectly still throughout the cleaning session. It seems to understand that these tiny birds are not a threat, but valuable partners helping to free it from days of relentless irritation. Occasionally, it flicks an ear or takes a deep breath, but otherwise remains calm as the birds continue their work. For hours, the flock works together with incredible coordination. As soon as one area has been cleaned, the birds move on to another, carefully searching every fold of skin until very few parasites remain. Their teamwork transforms the rhino into a living feeding ground while providing it with much-needed relief. By late afternoon, the transformation is obvious. Most of the blood-feeding ticks have disappeared, and the rhino's skin looks cleaner and healthier. The constant itching has subsided, and the giant no longer feels the need to rub against trees or shake its head every few moments. It appears calmer, stronger, and far more comfortable. With their work complete, the oxpeckers take flight one after another, disappearing into the nearby acacia trees with full stomachs. The rhino slowly resumes its journey across the vast African savanna, once again standing as one of the continent's most powerful animals. This remarkable partnership is one of nature's most fascinating examples of mutualism. The oxpeckers gain a reliable source of nutritious food, while the rhinoceros receives relief from hundreds of blood-sucking parasites that would otherwise weaken its health over time. On the banks of a vast river deep in the African wilderness, a gigantic Nile crocodile slowly crawls onto a sandy shore as the first rays of morning sunlight begin warming its armor-like skin. For decades, it has ruled these wetlands, surviving countless battles with rival crocodiles, enduring brutal droughts, and bringing down countless prey. Yet despite its incredible strength and fearsome reputation, it must still contend with a tiny but relentless enemy. Hundreds of blood-feeding ticks cling tightly to the softer areas around its neck, legs, belly, tail, and beneath its powerful jaws. Beneath the murky river water, large freshwater leeches quietly attach themselves to its body, feeding for hours at a time. Day after day, these parasites leave the crocodile constantly irritated, exhausted, and increasingly weakened. Many of the bite sites develop into small wounds that carry the risk of infection. Desperate for relief, the crocodile rubs its massive body against large rocks and weathered tree trunks along the riverbank, trying to scrape away the parasites. It lashes its powerful tail across the water before rolling through thick, wet mud. A few ticks and leeches are dislodged, but most remain firmly wedged between its thick, armored scales, continuing to feed without mercy. As the sun climbs higher and the African wetlands begin to bake under the midday heat, the crocodile slowly returns to the shallow water to cool itself. At that very moment, tiny movements appear beneath the surface. A school of small freshwater fish gathers around the giant reptile. Instead of fleeing from one of Africa's most feared predators, they swim confidently alongside its enormous body. The fish are attracted by the parasites, loose dead skin, and leeches attached to the crocodile. They gently nibble away little by little, removing leeches, aquatic parasites, and layers of dead skin trapped between the rugged scales. The crocodile remains almost perfectly still, allowing the fish to swim around its legs, belly, tail, and even close to its fearsome jaws, lined with razor-sharp teeth. In return, the fish enjoy a rich, protein-filled meal, while the crocodile gradually begins to feel relief after many days of constant irritation. By late afternoon, as the sunlight softens, the crocodile climbs back onto the riverbank to bask in the warmth. The scent of blood-filled ticks, still clinging to its body, quickly attracts a troop of banded mongooses foraging nearby.
A family finds peace. Golden hour brings a moment of pure relaxation. But even in
Known for their sharp eyesight, lightning-fast reflexes, and love of protein-rich food, the mongooses are always searching for insects, small reptiles, and other nutritious prey. At first, the entire troop watches the enormous crocodile from a safe distance, clearly wary of the giant predator. After several minutes pass without the crocodile moving, the bravest mongoose cautiously approaches. Soon the others follow, carefully searching for ticks hidden between the crocodile's thick scales, around its neck, legs, belly, and the base of its tail. With their keen eyesight and remarkably precise teeth, the mongooses quickly discover blood-filled ticks in places the fish beneath the water could never reach. Working together with impressive coordination, they remove the swollen parasites one after another and eat them immediately. Every tick becomes a nutritious meal for the mongooses, while providing the crocodile with welcome relief from days of discomfort. As the sun begins to set over the African wetlands, the remarkable cleaning session finally comes to an end. Only a few parasites remain on the crocodile's enormous body. After receiving help from both the tiny fish beneath the water and the banded mongooses on land, the ancient reptile feels healthier, lighter, and far more comfortable. Slowly, it returns to the river to continue its life as the dominant predator of the wetlands. The fish disappear back into the deeper water, while the mongooses leave with full stomachs after an extraordinary feast. Under the blazing African sun, a towering giraffe slowly wandered across the open savanna. Every step looked painful. Its long legs, built to carry it across endless grasslands, were covered with hundreds of blood-sucking ticks. From the hooves to the knees, clusters of swollen brown parasites clung tightly to its skin, feeding relentlessly and leaving behind irritated, inflamed patches. The constant biting became unbearable. The giraffe repeatedly stomped its feet, scraped its legs against rough tree trunks, and kicked through dry bushes in a desperate attempt to dislodge the parasites. But nothing worked. The ticks remained firmly attached, continuing to drain its blood, while clouds of buzzing flies gathered around the irritated wounds. Not far away, a family of mongooses was busy searching for insects beneath thorny shrubs. Suddenly, the dominant mongoose lifted its head. It caught the scent of blood and parasites drifting through the warm breeze. Standing upright on its hind legs, it fixed its sharp eyes on the struggling giant in the distance, before letting out a series of short warning calls. Within seconds, the entire mongoose family rushed toward the giraffe, cautiously circling its massive legs. What they discovered was astonishing. Hundreds of fat, blood-filled ticks blanketed the giraffe's lower legs, creating what looked like an endless feast for the tiny predators. At first, the giraffe remained cautious, watching the small mammals approach, but realizing they posed no threat, it gradually stopped moving and stood perfectly still. One brave mongoose stepped forward, carefully grabbed a large tick from the giraffe's ankle, and swallowed it whole. That single bite triggered a feeding frenzy. One by one, the mongooses spread across the giraffe's legs, skillfully removing the parasites with remarkable speed and precision. Every few seconds, another swollen tick disappeared into the mouths of the hungry hunters. As more parasites vanished, the giraffe slowly relaxed. The relentless itching faded, and for the first time in days, it stood peacefully beneath the African sky, while the tiny mongooses continued their remarkable work around its towering legs. Note: this is an AI-generated fictional wildlife story inspired by natural animal behavior and is not intended to represent a commonly documented relationship between giraffes and mongooses.